Hello and welcome to Digital Imaging. I am David Miessler-Kubanek, and this is my wonderful class. And we're going to use today primarily as a work day again. We have one more class period to get ready for the fruit plate project, which I'll be turning in before Thursday so that we can have you each present on that. But let me go ahead and go through the announcements. So we're going to be going through these announcements. I'm going to introduce you to the next and final project, the collage project. And then we're going to basically come back around 3:45 and just see how everyone's doing with the fruit plate and with the montage. And if you weren't in class last Thursday, I mentioned that I'd updated what was being expected for each class for the montage project. So the first time, I'm looking for the name of your theme, the sketch, and list of ingredients, as it were, for what you're thinking of including. And I want you to put that all into Talon. And then I want you to keep adding every time we have a class period. I want you to keep adding your progress to that same assignment. So what I would be expecting to see today would be an update on your progress on the montage. So of course, get that other stuff in first, but I would like to see what you're doing in Photoshop. Early ideas are fine. And then Thursday, the same thing. Even if we don't get to discuss the montage because of the presentations, I do want to see your progress in it. I want you to keep moving on that. And I believe Thursday also, I'm expecting you to use either the 3x3 grid or golden spiral in your composition to see how that affects what you're going to be doing with your images. So I will open up time today for questions on that. But let me finish up here. So yeah, we're going to be reviewing things later on, and the collage project is fairly simple once you get everything in place. I uploaded the images earlier today for everyone to use. Thursday, again, we're going to really spend time reviewing the fruit plates, and each of you is going to guide that sort of discussion. It's going to be very simple, though. And then next week, something that's still kind of up in the air is there's something that's come up that I may need to travel out of state to do. So I'm in conversation with Dan Turi and David Brandstetter to see, but it's going to be a work week next week too, so it shouldn't really interrupt anything. But if I'm gone either Tuesday or Thursday and we do not end up meeting, I'd still like to see your progress on that day just to kind of keep the momentum going. So let's see here. Check in here. Are there any questions about any of this so far on the announcements? Not hearing or seeing anything. Okay. So just very briefly, I'm going to go back to the montage project, and I'm going to share my screen for this and the collage. So just a moment while I get that set up. Okay, so I have the montage here, and can you see my screen? Okay, thank you. So again, this is all in Talon. So I do want part one, and you should have part two done today as soon as possible. And then Thursday, I'd like you, like I say in here, 3x3 grid or spiral. And for parts 2, 3, and forward, there's probably going to be at least one text response that I'd also like to have in there, because I don't want your design to be just a random assortment. I want you to have intention with it. So like when I was asking people, why did you choose those fonts in the typography review? Some students said, I don't know, I just liked it or just sort of chose something. And that's not a very strong answer to give to a client or a boss. So if you do make a decision, a creative decision, and it's for pay, I would strongly recommend that you have a rationale behind it. Something about the characteristics of the composition, the layout, whatever those elements are that you're working with. I would give thought to that so that you have intention behind it. You're going to look more professional if you have an answer than just, I don't know. Okay. So I will update this once we get past Thursday with the next parts. We're going to have, like I said, next week, and I believe we're going to have one more week. And then we're going to have the final, it's not a full week, but most of a week, I believe, to kind of finish things up. And then I want to make sure we do some sort of review of things before the final exam happens. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to switch over to the collage. And so the collage is in there in Talon, and you're going to create something that looks like this when you're done. And I put a copy of this, and I put a copy of a student who did this last year into Talon as well. So we're going to have a side profile left or right, no straight aheads, no backs, but we want to see the profile of your face and hair. We don't want, if possible, don't have this back cut off. Some people did that last year, and it really, I think, kind of hurt the composition a little bit. So even if you have long hair or something, make sure that your image, when you place it on this 11 by 17 uh, file, make sure that your head's at least a little bit away from the side so we can see the curvature of your head. Or the shape if you've got interesting shapes in your hair, braids or something, I don't know. But make sure that if you do that, that we can see it. It's fine if you want to like block out like your back. It's just going to be like a basic kind of a bust shot, basically from like mid-level on up to your head. So you're going to leave some clearance for the front and back and top of your head. Some people, you could go all the way down the back, which is fine. Just depends on your build and the angle. So I want to show you a little bit about this because this is, to me, this is the most technological, challenging part of it, but it's not that difficult, especially where you should be right now. If you do have glasses and you want to wear them for this, that is fun to try to figure out what's going to fit in that space. And so the idea behind this is to take the images that were supplied, don't use any additional images, but you're just taking from the pool of images that you all supplied and using at least 12 of them to fill in your space in a way that you think is aesthetically or interesting, pleasing for you. So I want you to really read through the specifications, read through all these instructions. We're not doing a print version, obviously, but I would like one layered PSD so I can see all of your layers and blends and masks and selections, and a final PDF. And the PDF is what we used last year to actually print them. So I just want to see both layered PSD and a PDF in Talon for this when they're final. And let's see, so the grading here is following directions: creative problem solving, Photoshop, artistic expression, and design constraints. So, it's very similar to what we've been doing before. It's just a different format. Make sure that your tabloid portrait is 150 DPI resolution and in RGB mode. Most of the images submitted should already be in RGB. If they're not, please convert them to RGB, either individually before you place them or the entire composition after you've finished it, whichever works for you. So let me open up my Photoshop, and I'm using an older Photoshop um, because it still works really great on my computer. So basically you have an 11 by 17 canvas. Ultimately, you're going to end up with the background being white so that the colors of the images really pop out. And so what I've done here is wait here. So basically you're going to take your picture, take 2 or 3 of them. If you're not comfortable doing them yourself, have a family member or someone else do it for you. I obviously was didn't get all my head. So I filled that in Photoshop. So you're gonna basically have a photo that fits roughly where you think it's gonna be. When I did this, it was shortly after a haircut, so I have these weird colics that stick up, so I use that to my advantage. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna basically, let me turn this off. You're gonna make a shape, path shape, using the pen tool was the easiest way. And then you basically clip it from a background. So I used black as my background, and you can probably see over here my layers panel that I just clipped using my paths of my shape into that. Okay, so there's nothing tricky like channels or anything like that. It's just a simple shape clip path. And do the best you can. If you've got spiky hair or something, you don't have to get every single strand, definitely not. And then what you have to do, and this is kind of the tricky part, is that you have to hold that aside for a bit, and then you're going to, in its own folder, you're going to pick your 12 or so images, and I want you to have them named, so they can be the name of the file or some other reason, but this is good practice. I want you to have them named, and they'll be in whatever layer order that they need to be. And then what you need to do is you need to apply that mask to that subfolder. And that's where you get everything showing up inside properly. Okay, so that's the trick to it, is applying that clipping path mask to the subfolder, to that folder, so that everything inside basically gets hidden and included inside, right? And then you can turn on and off the background whenever you're ready. But that's basically it. That's the big trick to this, is making sure you're organized in this folder, right? And then applying that once you've created it to that folder. Are there any questions? Any comments?
I have a question.
Who
Um,
who's speaking?
so when you did the
Uh-huh.
path around, uh, so when you drew the path around the silhouette with the pen tool, what did you do in the path section?
Yeah, great question. So I'm just gonna turn this off. Turn off this stuff. Okay, so, and my path is still selected, so let me turn that off. So I'm just gonna kind of show you just a shorter version of that. With the pen tool, you wanna make sure that path is selected. This might look a little different because this is CS6, not Creative Cloud, whatever. So make sure the path is selected, okay? Then very carefully zooming in and out, I'm just gonna do a very rough version of that, all right? You're just sort of tracing the outline of the shape. All right, I'm just gonna go a little quicker. You're gonna wanna be tidier. And of course, you know that you can use the white arrow tool to clean these up if you make a mistake. So for this one, I'm gonna skip my glasses. And I'm actually gonna kind of just skip my hair too, all right? And I'm gonna kind of eyeball this out here. And then I'm gonna go off the canvas because my back would go beyond that. And then I need to zoom out, go down here, and then basically make sure you finish the path. Okay, so if I turn this off, I don't know if you can see that path sitting there, but basically while that path is still there, right, it's become my new work path, right? So you're gonna wanna be careful because I accidentally just replaced what I had there before. So I'm gonna actually, well, for the purpose of this, I'm just gonna continue forward. And to do that, let me finish that path again. So let's see, like back. And what you're gonna do is you can save it, call it whatever. And all of this naming convention is very good habits to build up, especially if you work with other designers in the same office. Then you make that the selection, okay? And this you should already be fairly comfortable doing. You can adjust this as needed. And then you should see the dancing ants.
Okay. I
Yeah,
see.
so that's how you make your path active to make it like a selection. You turn it from this vector path into a selection. And then you basically go back and you try to find something. So in this case, I'm going to select, let me turn this on, right? So if I have this layer selected, I'm now saying with this object here, I want you to modify this layer. And if I go up to layer and reveal selection, there you go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just going to do that with a black background. And obviously if I'm in here and you can change the background, this is not a shape background, it's a fill background, but you can go in and you can say, oh, I want whatever. It's really easy to change. I'm going to undo that. And then, like I said before, see up here, I created it before, and then you apply it to whatever menu that you have of objects. So I'll show you that as well. Let me put this guy down, if it'll let me. Come here. Let me just drag it. There we go. All right. So I'm going to take these two images from the other folder. And since they're below this layer, that's why they're under here. And I'm basically going to make these two into a folder. Now, the problem I'm facing right now is that yesterday I broke my arm in two places, my left arm. So using shortcuts is a little bit of a challenge. So bear with me here. Ooh, hang on, I'm just going to do that. Okay. Okay. So what you want to apply then, you don't need this, but you need this, is you can drag that down there over the folder. And let's see here, turn that off. And then there you go. So that mask shape hides anything else that's not hidden there. And that's basically what you're going to be doing with your 12 images. Was that clear to everyone? So I sent out an announcement, I think it was yesterday, I can't remember now, of the videos. So I'm recording these classes and I'm putting them up on a YouTube channel too for people who can't make it for whatever reason. So if you forget how this is done and what I just did made sense, you can always rewatch that too. Okay. So I'm not going to save this since I basically wiped out my original work path. Um, and I do want to probably reuse this next year. But that's basically what you're going to do. And then you're going to put your white background up here. And again, you're going to work with each layer to kind of figure out what the blend modes are. Do you need to change the opacity? Do you need to edit some of the images? Actually go in and change some of them. And that's really up to you to decide because you're making a collage, like a painting out of photos. You're just putting it together in a creative way. And like I said, getting the picture and then using the pen tool to make your silhouette and then making the mask, that's the most difficult part. The rest, in my opinion, is just a lot of fun of experimentation. So any questions on the collage project at this time? So again, review the specifications, send me messages if something doesn't make sense, and I'll try to help you. I'll get back here. So yeah, we're gonna basically break and we'll be back. And I want everyone back, please, at 3:45 so that we can go through wherever you're at with the montage and fruit plate. I'd really like to see what you got. So thank you very much, and we'll see you in a little bit less than an hour. And I will be available either here or through email if you need assistance with anything. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the note. So we're just going to go ahead and get started on the fruit plate. Probably won't spend as much time as we had in the past. Everyone's probably still at a different point with their project, but I do want us to be able, before we leave, kind of talk about where you're at with the montage. If you, and it's fine if you haven't begun it, but I do want you to make up that time as soon as you're able to. And I understand everyone's under a lot of pressure right now with everything going on in the world. So, Omar, are you able to present your fruit plate project?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and share that screen with us. And everyone else, make sure to get your fruit plate and montage open on your desktops if you're able to. Sorry about that. Thanks. So, okay, here's a quick repeat of what I was saying. No one can hear me. So overall, very nice. I kind of feel like your plate is too close to the front edge, but it's okay. Some of the shadows and reflections, especially under the strawberries on the left side, probably could be worked on. The shadow under the muffin, the glass, and also under the plate, and then the transparency, opacity on the back part of the glass, and then some shadow work underneath the bananas, especially over by the red apple. But otherwise, I think your proportions are pretty good. Um, and I should have brought it out to show everyone, but my wife brought home some really big strawberries. So I'm like, okay, they do exist. All right. So thank you very much, Omar. Do you have any comments or questions? Okay. Livia, do you have yours ready?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Okay. So this, so you have not added a background, correct?
Yeah, no, I haven't worked on it since the last.
Okay. 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 Your audio is breaking up. So what I think you said is that you haven't worked on it much since last time. Uh, so let's,
Uh,
is that correct? Okay. So I believe you said you haven't worked on it much since last time, and I don't see much that's changed, if anything. So let's go ahead and move on, unless you have a question or comment that you'd like to address.
okay.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Keaton, are you able to present, Keaton? While you're getting your mic, let's go ahead and move on. Nadine, are you able to present?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and share your screen, and we'll pop back to Keaton after you. Have you worked on this since we last spoke?
Yes.
Okay, so the glass is really clear. Um, that's for sure. It might need to be a little, just slightly less clear because if you see the front of the glass, it has a little bit of a film on it. So you want to kind of look at the entire glass and see like, does it make sense to be completely clear? Or should it have like if I mean it's up to you. I would just go one way or the other. Either put a little bit of that texture back or take out some just a, it's gonna be more challenging to take out some in the front, I feel. Um, but it's not too bad. What I think is missing is defined shadow, like right at the base of the glass where it meets the surface of that table. And I feel like the shadow around your plate is a little bit, um, and also the glass extends maybe too far. Um, and there's a few other things too. Like you probably have like a stronger shadow below the grapes and the kiwi. And like this is something I recommend. Get a shape as close to this as possible and position a lamp or something over that so you can really see where the light falls, okay? I think that mostly your fruit works pretty well. Um, I I kind of feel like those strawberries are, I don't know how they're staying on the plate because they're right on the edge. So you may or may not want to bring that in a little bit. Um, but I think that's the best I can say right now, given the time. All right, thank you for sharing. And if anyone has a question or comment while we're going through this, please let me know. I just want to get through as many of these as we can. Keaton, are you able to present? And Keaton, you can use the chat if your mic isn't working. Are you there, Keaton? Why don't we go ahead and move on? I haven't heard or seen Keaton recently. So why don't, okay, that's fine. Go ahead and pull up your screen, pull up your project, and we'll just use the chat. It's funny because I can hear you clicking the keys. Okay, Keaton, let me get the chat open here. Great. Yeah, I think strawberries work. The strawberries closer to the red apple are without more shadow are a challenge to see just at a glance, especially the one that your cursor's on. It almost blends into the coconut edge as well. So think about that, like when you have those similar colors next to each other, how you can define that. So I would just add a little bit of shadowing between them to help them pop out more. Yeah. So you still need to worry about the shadows under the plate and possibly the elevation of the plate compared to the countertop. But I think otherwise it's coming along very nicely. Do you have any thought? Okay. So I don't know if you're chatting or what. Um, every time someone's adding or sharing the screen, my Zoom keeps resetting. So I don't know if that's a new feature of Zoom or what. So if you are sending a chat, please, you may have to resend it because every time I come back, the chat is emptied again. Okay, so Keaton, thank you very much. Let's go with Bree. Yeah, it might be something on my end. So every time someone does a screen share, it pops me out and then back in. So I apologize for that. Can you hear me? Okay, so let's go through this before I lose internet. Yeah, so it's on like a serving table or something. Okay, I think overall pretty good, Bree. Um, so when you and this is when you put a shape on another surface, like that muffin or that glass on a table, there should be more of a shadow directly beneath it too, not just the shadows being cast off of it. So look at that at home with a similar lighting. You have a very strong lighting coming in on this, and I think that you're doing a great job overall. And then you might want to rethink how you do the shadow around the plate. It's a little strong in the back, um, but I think really that's the only thing that really pop out at me is this, there should probably be some sort of dark area right under the glass and under the muffin just a little bit. Um, overall, your reflections are looking good. You might need to bring everything, all of your shapes, a little bit more in so they're not right up against the two sides and almost right up against the top of your page. So that would be my other recommendation, is to kind of bring things in a little bit more, get a little bit more space around the composition. Okay. Bree, are you able to speak through audio?
Yes, are you cut out?
Okay. Just talk just a little bit about the montage files that you have over there.
Um, I just put pieces of each painting together. I just copied together to make like a bouquet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's looking very nice. Very nice craft. Very good. Um, So yeah, at this point, if you're working your montage, we're just looking for you to start moving things towards the composition that it will eventually become. Again, once you're ready, go ahead and apply the rule of thirds grid or golden spiral design to that to see how that changes the focal point, especially in your compositions. And minimum 11 width height, maximum 24 inches width height. Um, so just keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be necessarily a square or rectangle. Thank you very much for sharing. Gusto, are you able to share with us?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I still haven't got it back.
Your plate, especially around the bottom, like closest to us, looks jagged. It doesn't look smooth. And
Yeah.
and you're from what I can
You
see,
mean like this?
yeah, it looks kind of jagged rather than smooth.
I could see that.
Yep, exactly. Like like right below, like from about halfway of the muffin
Yeah.
around to the
Over.
orange. Yep. So
Yep.
I would
get
see
it.
if you can improve that. The selections from what I can see on the banana look a little, I don't know if they're jagged or just blurry. It's hard for me to see at this level. And then the kiwi doesn't quite look done. I know that you said you were going to add some kiwi
Mm-hmm.
hairs to that. But and then of course, and I know you know this, but I'm just saying it, the shadow under the glass, the shadow under the grapes and the plates that, the grapes that are hanging off the plate and the plate itself is going to be needed. But otherwise, I think it's coming together very well. Yeah. One other thing that just caught my attention, the under the muffin, the rim of the muffin top area where it meets the grape on the left side doesn't quite look right. So like if you look at like, okay, um we're gonna close this one down. Peyton, are you able to present?
He cut out.
Is
Oh.
Peyton
Yeah,
here? Okay.
yeah. I haven't really worked on my fruit plate project since
Okay.
the last time. Just moved a couple things around. I don't know
Sure.
if you still want me to
Nope.
show you,
Yeah, let's
You?
skip ahead, especially with my unstable
but
internet.
I have
I totally didn't get that last part.
like I saw my montage. My mon.
Oh, you want
I don't
okay,
know
if
if we were showing
yeah, we were. I was just trying to get through the fruit plate as quickly as possible. But let's, instead of your
Oh,
fruit plate, let's go ahead and bring up your montage.
okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm kind of doing like the pictures inside of the like outline of a body, and then
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
create like a whole picture.
So you're ready for the collage.
Kinda, I guess, but like I'm trying to use multiple pictures from like all our beach vacations to create one picture because
That is really
other
cool. Picture in picture. Yeah, my screen just went
Thank you.
blank, but what I saw looked really good. Keep up the great
Oh,
work.
thank you.
Yep. Okay. Rachel, are you here and are you able to present?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead. All right. I feel like your muffin is more successful than the shadow under your juice glass. So what I would recommend is just bringing that juice glass shadow up a little bit more because of the give of the napkin, I think. I think your plate's looking good. Yeah, I think from what I can tell, the only thing I might want you to add would be some reflection under those blue things in the front.
Okay.
And maybe a little bit of shadow under the banana in the back that's sort of sticking near the red apple. Yeah, good job. Do you have montage work that you'd like to share at this point?
Uh,
Yeah. So this is going to be really awesome. This is going to create a really nice literary scene. And if at some point you want to put like kind of like what Peyton was doing, if you think it's appropriate to put pieces of text in things or whatever, you can give that a
Okay.
shot. But don't feel like it's something you have to do. I'm just saying if you want to experiment and try it, you can do so. We have a print in our bedroom of it has like an illustration of like a whale, right, in a seascape, and inside is a selection of Moby Dick inside the shapes. We got it at Prairie Lights in Iowa City. It's very nice. All right, good job. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Ash, are you able to share?
Yep.
All right, go for it.
Mm,
Okay. So I see a shadow. Yep. I see a shadow under the plate. It's very light.
mm,
And you probably would have a shadow effect like that. But given how bright the light is in this composition, I feel like you'd have like it would be fairly dark close to the plate and then get lighter as it gets further from the plate. So for this one, the plate, I feel like there'd be like this thin, fairly dark shadow starting around the base of it from what we can see. And then especially around the sides, possibly. Again, this is where having a plate that you can test with the lighting at home would be helpful. The shadow would fade out. But in terms of composition of the plate, very organized. I might have some additional shadows between that green apple that's sort of tilted next to the muffin because it would be blocking some of the light. The selections of your glass look a little jagged, like along the sides and that back edge. So if there's a way you could smooth that out, I think that would improve it. But overall, very well done. Yeah, very good. Do you also have anything for montage? Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead and share that. Oh my gosh. I've never played Pokemon, but I hear it's fun. Yeah, that is a lot of cool stuff. All right. Yeah, the cards give you like a really good grid potential too, because they're all uniformly shaped. Good. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay. Haley, are you able to present?
Yeah.
Go for it. Okay, good. So I feel like, did you create a shadow under that glass? Haley?
The plate right there. Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you respond in chat? Your audio is breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. So, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so the glass is looking pretty good. Now my audio is breaking up. The muffin's looking fairly good. The muffin I feel is like being abandoned because it's small and far away. Um, the plate shadow is pretty good, but you probably have, again, like a transition, like a gradient between the plate and the shadow. So depending on your light, how severe that is, the transition may or may not be very strong. But think about that. It, shadows don't just go from like something to nothing. There's
Yeah.
usually some sort of like gradient depending on the lighting. But your selections still look very good. Your reflections are pretty good. Yeah, very good job. And then you have your montage. Okay, I see some really interesting mountain scenes. Is that what I should be saying?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, my internet's so bad today. It looks really nice. Nadine, are you able to present?
Yes.
All right, let's go for it. That's looking really good. I don't know that you need to save pictures in there. You could probably say something like the farm, or if there's like a family name that you want to associate with it. I think it's obvious that we're looking at pictures from a farm, but have the word farm in there in some way. But I like how you've arranged things. Yeah, and that sort of weathered wood in the background works. Your your theme word is easy to read. So well done. Olivia, are you able to present?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's perfect. Just keep those like that. Yeah, so again, I would perhaps refine the shadow under the plate a little more. The shadow right between the glass and the table. And then I think you need, are you going to include some of those blue grape things in there too?
I can.
Yeah, you can just put a couple in there somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, from what I can see, that's looking very good. And you're adding more elements in on your montage. Could you remind people what your montage is?
I'm doing it about Coraline, the movie.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I've heard it's really, really well done though.
Yeah, it is.
Um, what I might do is you might need to fade back your background in some way,
Mm-hmm.
or reverse it in some way so that you can help pop out the other drawings and shapes. Like that shape that's near the bottom left is hard to read against all of the web lines.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as you continue to develop this, just think about how can I make my message, whether it's certain characters that are in here or whatever, really stand out more. But I think it's a really fun design. Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, thanks for sharing.
Mhm.
Mitchell, are you there?
I am, yes.
Okay. Uh, would you like to present anything?
Yeah, just a moment here.
Sure.
I can get my screen sharing.
Yeah, so there's just a number of little things. Some shadows under things. Yep, exactly. The glass, the transparency, and also the selection looks a little rough. Let's see. I think you're missing some oranges. And the plate from about the kiwi around to the, I guess those blue grapes or whatever, is still a little rough. So you may need to go, yeah, that edge. You may need to go in there and alter that and then put some shadow, a little bit stronger shadow below it.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's coming along very nicely. Yeah, it looks, from my eyes, it looks like it's fitting into the lighting. The one thing that looks a little bit out of place now that I think about it, is the coconut might be a little bit too far down in the plate.
Okay.
Like it's like we can't see that it's been chopped more. So maybe bring it up a little. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm just comparing that with the other coconuts I've seen so far. But
No, that makes sense. I see what you're saying.
yeah, it looks like it's sunk down too much. Yeah, good job. Keep it up. And then montage. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I wasn't sure what what this is gonna be. So you're focusing on your, is it Air Jordan?
I'm focusing on the LeBron shoe
LeBron shoes,
is the outline of it, but then
right?
yeah, the biggest shoe that's in there is this one, the Air Max 97.
Okay, okay. So what I think might be interesting for you to try, because you have it sort of like in a square shape, is maybe thinking about your canvas shape being either in like a diamond or in a different shape.
Hmm.
It's totally up to you. And then you're going to need to put in your theme word somewhere in there too. It's going to need to be visible somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you might need to still kind of give it a little. I know that you were concerned about background conflicting. So think about it and see if there's like an interesting background texture or color or something that you think would work. And obviously, with all these different colors and shapes, white is probably the easiest to use.
For sure.
Yeah. So I don't want people to feel like I don't want them to fill up every ounce of space on the screen. I also don't want there to be too much white space around your montage. So we'll have to figure out what that balance is. So maybe
All right.
maybe when you work with the rule of thirds grid or the golden spiral, you'll see something that pops out too. Yeah,
Okay, that makes
looks
sense.
great. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I can't see the list of people right now. Who else has something that they would like to share? Either Ryan, do you have anything? Oh,
I do.
Livia. Let's have Livia, if you don't mind, Ryan. Let's have Livia, and we'll do Livia do her montage, and then Omar wants to share. Is that okay, Ryan?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Livia, you're up. Ah, it's coming together.
Yeah, I don't have like all of the stuff in there yet. But like I have other pictures, and once like I get them in, hopefully they'll.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. I almost imagine like there's gonna be like some water or something, like a little spring or a little riverette or something in there too, because it's very common.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. I'm just saying that's what
Okay.
that's what I'm like kind of seeing. And then you're gonna have to work your theme word in there too.
Yeah.
So like for something like this, I feel like your basic font isn't going to do it justice. So something to consider, and this is just an option, is potentially like a hand-drawn theme word, right? Or because there's like do you know the Czech artist Muka?
No, I don't.
Look him up, and he used to do a lot of to help make a living, do a lot of posters and advertisements for like products and things. He's very well known in the Czech community, and he did like a lot of like stage performance posters for like a famous performer, Mucha. I think I have a book somewhere with his stuff in it. So there might, and I know that you sort of expressed a curiosity about typography before. And if you think it works, I think you could do it. But otherwise, I feel like just like a sans serif or serif font just may or may not work. But
Yeah.
you never know. You might find something that you think, yeah, this works great. I don't have to make it myself. But it's nice job. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Thanks.
Okay, Omar. We're gonna do Omar, and then we're gonna do Ryan, and then Nathan. Okay. Oh yeah, your four heroes, your legends of soccer or football. Wow, you're like almost done here, sir. That is impressive.
So this Leo Messi,
Mm-hmm.
he's the
Wow.
best player for 6 times in the world. I love him actually.
He's the best until what, 5 years from now when a new guy comes up.
Maybe more.
So, let's see. So is this really about Messi, or is this about these four players? Is it just about Messi?
It is about Messi.
Okay. Okay. All right. What I
Before
would
he
Oh,
was this one,
go
this is the
ahead.
old ones,
Uh-huh.
old legend. Like
Uh-huh.
we can compare him to Michael Jordan,
Uh-huh.
and want the second, like you can say maybe Kobe Bryant,
Hmm.
and you can describe Messi as LeBron James maybe because he's still playing.
I
Those the three legend of the
uh-huh.
history of
Cool.
this
Uh,
one. There is second, and Messi is the third,
so
and the
there,
best.
yeah, I have a few thoughts. You have this picture of, I believe, Messi up in the upper right corner. Is
Mhm.
he supposed to be upside down?
This one,
Yeah,
mm, mm, not actually. I can change that.
it looks odd
Yeah,
compared to
I
everything
agree.
else you have going on.
I agree.
Yeah, so I would either, if you're gonna keep it, then I would flip it to be the right orientation. I
Mm.
love that you put your own, is that your own quote?
This one, yeah.
Don't write about him. Don't try to describe him. Just watch him. I think that's awesome.
Mm.
The one real design thing I have for you as a suggestion is to, if you can, think about a better way to display that title, Messi, the Legend of Soccer.
Mm.
It's almost, I think it's too small in that space.
Okay.
So one option is to just simply make it larger. That would be
Okay.
the easiest thing. Another option would be to think about fitting it into your design as a part of it. And I don't want you to completely redo your design for this, but one option that some people might do is to put it, like in your design, in the middle between those photos.
Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't need to go in that spot. I'm just saying that that is one place that you might see it,
Mm.
is kind of in the middle because it's like speaking to this guy. But if you want to keep it on the edge, I would make it larger so it's a little bit more obvious.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a great job. Yeah, thank you.
Mm.
And then, did you already share your fruit plate or do you still need to do
I
that?
did. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. All
Mm.
right, I think we're gonna do Ryan and then we're gonna do Nathan after that. And I think that's everyone. If not, please speak up. I know we're going a little bit over today, but I wanna just make sure we're touching base. All right, this is Ryan's. Okay. Okay, so I feel like I like the intent of your shadow with the muffin, but I feel like your muffin is hovering just ever so slightly off the table. I think there's just too much spacing there, but you're very, very close. So just figuring out like what is the right distance and shape and darkness, like kind of when we were in drawing classes, that getting that just right. The shadow under the plate could probably be just a little bit darker. I see kind of like a white glowing edge. I don't know if that's too blurry or not. Oh, Mitchell, yeah, go ahead. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so back to Ryan. Let's see, looking at these things. Let's see. Thank you. Yeah, I, I don't know if you see a kind of whitish blue edge under the plate.
I always thought that that was like the ceramic of the plate, but it might not be.
Yeah, it could be. So like depending on what backgrounds or other objects you have in front of or under or whatever can change the dynamics of the lighting. So in my eyes, that looks, it could work. But maybe what I'm looking for is I need a little bit of a sharper shadow underneath that maybe. So I'm not saying get rid of that whitish area, but try putting a little bit darker shadow underneath there and see if that helps. And then you're going to want to add a little bit stronger shadow underneath the overhanging bananas.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's looking very well done. You did a great job putting the grapes in the front because of your light source and the cherries and everything. Things are looking very good on this. Yeah, well done. Do you have any comments or questions?
I do not.
Okay. Do you have a montage to share?
Currently I'm just collecting photos and things, so I don't really have any.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Thank you very much. All right, Nathan, you're up. Oh my goodness.
I haven't done anything with my
Yeah.
fruit plate project, so this is my montage.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned how you're planning to take pictures and things of the downtown area. You got your map. Yeah, that's really interesting. What similar to Olivia, you're going to need to figure out that right balance of contrast, obviously with the map and with the other shapes. Um, think it. I feel like the 5 seasons sculpture you have there is a little bit hard to see currently.
Okay.
Yeah. So I feel like the buildings stand out stronger against the map. But again, you may just need to reduce the opacity in the map to address that. You'll just have to see what works. And also, yeah, like just depends what other elements you add in here. But otherwise, I think it's coming along very well. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, good job. All right. Anyone else? I don't want to miss anyone. Does anyone else have anything that they need to say or show? Okay. Okay, so recap. This is the priority order that I want you to think about. So if things are getting really crazy, your health is the most important, okay? Send me a note, right? We can make adjustments to your individual assignments and things like that. Your health is the most important. Next, after that, is focus on getting the fruit plate project done. Even if you don't get it done by Thursday, do what you can. I'd still like you to present if possible. Otherwise, we can make individual appointments to meet and discuss. If something's coming up, like me, I broke my arm yesterday. So think about really focusing on your health, then the fruit plate, and then the montage. Okay. So the collage is relatively quick and easy. Don't worry about that so much. Okay. Like if you need to not even do it for right now, that's totally fine. So we're going to have next week to work on the montage and potentially the collage. And then we have an entire another week to also do so if my dates are correct. Okay. So do what you can. Try to get the fruit plates done. What I saw today is looking really good. No matter what people do on these, there's always something that you're going to find. Try not to let perfect be the enemy of done. Okay. So I look forward to seeing these. I look forward to seeing you and listening to you present your fruit plates on Thursdays. Stay safe, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you very much for being here today.